53 tonight at Harris Stowe, there is a conversation that's going to be held by the National Association of Black Journalists, and the moderator is the president of the National Association of Black Journalists, Bob Butler. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
First, tell us what the National Association of Black Journalists. Tell us about that group for a moment.
NABJ, we advocate on behalf of black journalists worldwide. We provide training to our members, and we hold the media accountable for fair coverage of our community.
Okay, so what's going on tonight at Harris Stowe?
We want to talk to the community about how the media covered Ferguson. Did we do a good job? We do a bad job? It's our job to find out.
Right, so who's on the panel tonight?
We got Bill Freivogel. We've got several people who are out there in Ferguson. Brittany Noble-Jones, who was like one of the first reporters to report on what happened to Michael Brown. We also have a Democratic committee woman from Ferguson. We'll be talking. We'll be asking people, how do we do?
Right.
And so obviously members of the community will be invited as well.
Yes.
And how do you think we did as far as coverage?
Well, I covered it from, I didn't cover it. I was actually in Washington, D.C. when we heard that a couple of reporters had been arrested. One of them was one of our members. And at that point, when we really started watching the national coverage, I felt like people, it's kind of hard to say. The police response was, I think, overwhelming. And I actually wrote an op-ed. Are we looking in 1964 or 2014? Because the way the police treated the crowds, we just couldn't believe that. And as Wesley said, the reporter who was arrested, if they're going to arrest me, a journalist, imagine what they're doing to the people of the community when they get them.
Okay, but how do you think it was covered, though? Do you think locally the story came out? Do you think the protesters got their story out? Did the police get their story out? Was it put into context? How did the national media do versus the local media?
And those are the questions we're going to ask tonight. I can't tell you because I didn't watch all the media coverage, all the national coverage.
Right.
I do know that when the national media sends in its big guns, things tend to be, you kind of lose what the story is all about. It's now about the national media.
Yeah. How much of it, because at one point, the police said to the media, it's too dangerous. We can't protect you anymore. It's time for you guys to go. And the media listened to the police and left. And then the protesters left. So in a sense, the media was driving the story as much as covering it.
That happens almost every time you have a big protest. I've covered demonstrations where I rolled up, there was nothing going on. They saw a reporter was there, they started to march around and chant. The media does drive that. TV does that especially.
Right.
But you said that the police told the reporters, we can't protect you, you have to leave. A lot of the reporters did not leave, because they said, we don't need you to protect us. We just need to be able to cover the story. And that's what happened to Wesley and Ryan, the guy from Huffington Post. They were in the McDonald's trying to follow their stories. The police said, we can't protect you. There was nothing going on there. And they said, well, okay, but the police forced them to leave. The police, in my estimation, was really out of hand when it came to the media. Telling the media, you cannot record us on video. Well, yes, we can.
But I was down there, and I was treated with the utmost respect from police officers, protesters. Now, I was not there in the middle of the night at 10 o'clock when it turned violent, but I was treated with the utmost respect by all police officers and everybody else down there. So to have one media member who was a semi-blogger who shows up on the Meet the Press the next weekend, I question his motives. He all of a sudden became famous because he was arrested. So was he trying to cover it, or was he trying to make a name for himself?
Which are you talking about? The
Washington Post guy.
Well, he was down there covering the story.
I understand that.
And he got arrested.
Right.
And he was in great demand after that on all the national media to talk about what happened to him. He didn't want that kind of attention. I know Wesley. I know him personally.
Right.
He didn't want that kind of attention, but it happened to him, and he had to answer.
But if a police officer says move along and he doesn't move along...
Well, he didn't move along. He didn't move along fast enough. No, he, the other guy, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what happened in the McDonald's is, I think, it's not... That's not germane to what happened to the story out there. The police are moving everybody out for whatever reason, and the police were saying, "Don't, you can't question me, you can't record me," and that's wrong. We can record you, we can ask questions.
All of this covered tonight at Harris Stowe.
Yes, sir.
How much is this going to cost?
It doesn't cost anything.
Free and open to the public.
Free, open to the public, and we're going to be taking questions, and we want to hear what people have to say, because I think the people of Ferguson, the people of St. Louis, there have been many town hall meetings talking about the racial aspect, whatever aspect, talking to the mayor, but nobody has asked the questions about the media. What could we have done better? And that's something we have to talk about tonight.
Okay, so 6 o'clock, Harris Stowe, the Harry Gibbons auditorium over there, the new building.
It is.
I'm just
It
gonna-
is. The Henry Gibbons
Okay.
building.
All
Yeah.
right. 6 p.m. Harris Stowe. It's the National Association of Black Journalists and their panel on dealing with the media. We thank you very much.
And the local chapter, too, the
Yeah.
Greater St. Louis chapter, they're the ones that really put this together.
Okay, great. That's Bob Butler. Bob, thank you very much for coming
Thanks
in.
very much.
You got
Thanks.
it. Quick check of St. Louis